on. Okay. It's always good to hit record. All right. So as I was saying, you know, your future self is what we tuned into. It's the part of you that exists on a different plane, different time and place, but already has that career, that confidence, that power, that place, that whatever it is that you want, she has that. So in order to get to that point where you are expanded in your energy to be able to receive that and to create that, you know, it's moving part of these blocks out of the way. And so a lot of times when we think of being sensitive, energetically sensitive in our bodies, emotionally, all of it, we think of what is affecting us from the outside. You know, the people, the environments, you know, the energies outside of us. But the truth is, most of what affects us is coming from within. And so what we're going to work into today is some of the old voices and patterns that come in your quiet moments, and they end up wrecking everything for you. Okay. And it's that little girl, right? It's the little girl who didn't feel heard, didn't feel seen, is afraid. And so it's really, really important to be able to know that she's there and to know how to tap into that higher part of you, your future self, you know, that higher vibrational aspect of you, which is your true self, your true essence. And then to also be able to recognize that lower energy, heavy, darker voice that also exists within you. Because different shades of those two polarities are always there on some level. And so it's really a matter of you being aware of where it's coming from and not always looking outside to find it, but first looking from within. Because we also can create different dynamics outside of ourselves with what we're thinking and feeling within. And that's how powerful you are. And so we're going to look at that today. And I'm so excited for you to experience this process. It's a very, very transformational, and I think some light bulbs will go on for you today. All right, so before we start, we're going to do some conscious grounding. This is our basic energy work for today, and it's very practical. So I want you to be anchored in your physical body for us to be able to do this work. And so let's just begin by feeling wherever you're sitting, your feet on the floor, if they're on the floor. And as you breathe, just connecting into, you know, the feeling of the clothes on your body and the hair on your head. And see if you can do this with your eyes open, okay? A lot of times we just automatically close our eyes. But let's, for today, keep our eyes open and stay grounded in the present moment. So even if you're looking around the room, notice what's there. What's on the wall, what's on the counter, what's on your desk. You know, kind of look down at your hands, your feet. And just feel what it feels like to be you right now. And tune into your breathing. You might notice a little nervousness, a little anxiety. I feel that coming from you guys, a couple of you there. And that's okay. So just notice what's there and continue to breathe and stay connected, anchored into your physical body. Eyes open. Okay. So we're going to do a quick exercise to kind of open up your throat chakra and your communication, okay? So this one just looks like large chewing motions where you really open your mouth wide. And I know I'm on video, and you guys should be too at some point. But basically, you're opening your mouth up as wide as you can into like this huge chewing motion, just to open up and loosen the muscles around your mouth, which you will be using today, your voice. So it kind of looks like this. I know it looks so funny, but it actually feels really good. So you just go like this. It's like really large chewing motions. And you can do it either way. You can go from back to front or front to back, and just do that for a couple of moments. We hold a lot of tension in our jaw. Okay. And then place your tongue at the very top of your roof of your mouth. And that brings about peace in your energy. It's a Reiki thing some of you may be familiar with. Okay, and then we're going to connect into your solar plexus. So allow some light to drop in through the crown of your head. And this is a golden light. Allow it to drop through the center of your body and land in your solar plexus, your belly. So just bringing in some energy and awareness to your power center. You may experience it as liquid or as light. Some people like to picture it or feel it as warm sun. But however you experience it, just begin to awaken your power center now. You may notice your posture shift. Shoulders are down. Your posture is more upright as you connect into your power, your confidence. And if it's not, go ahead and make those adjustments in your physical body to create a shift. So we're just kind of opening up this channel where that divine light can come in to support us into our solar plexus as we connect into our power center. Okay. And then our last bit of grounding energy work here is going to be with your eyes. So our eyes are already open, and we're just going to look up to the very top, almost like you're trying to see your eyebrows. And then look down to your feet without moving your head, just using your eyeballs. And then go to the top left and the bottom right. And the top right. And the bottom left. Make sure you're breathing as you do this. And then close your eyes really tight. And then open and just blink, blink, blink. Releasing any tension in the eyes. In your third eye as well. Okay. So we're going to go ahead and move into what we're looking at today. We are consciously grounded now in our physical body. All right. So when we look at the different aspects of ourselves, the higher part of ourselves, the eternal part, I'm going to call it the goddess. So this is the light within you. This is the divine part of you. But I like to give it some kind of term so you know what to call it, just for the purposes of this exercise that we're doing. And you may take this with you as you practice this in your life. What are we calling that higher part of ourselves? So I'm calling it the goddess. It's the part of you that is totally pure. It has been untouched by anything that you've experienced. It's the part of you that came in divinely, and it's the part of you that still remains. And it's the part of you that oftentimes you can forget because of all the responsibilities and the earthly aspects of being human. Okay, that can kind of intrude on that goddess energy. And so what we're doing today is connecting back into that, awakening it, and using it. The lower aspect, this is the heavier, darker part of ourselves. It exists within everybody, right? We all have that potential for light and dark. And I'm calling it the goblin just because it's a living being, and you know, it's a part of who we are. And we're not trying to totally get rid of this goblin, which is the ego self. You know, it's the part of you that is really hooked into some of those barriers of being right, looking good, staying in control, and avoiding pain. Those are all parts, you know, aspects of you that want to protect you. But what it's really doing is it's getting in the way of you getting to that higher level. It's almost like a false protection. Okay. And what the goblin does is it really prolongs your suffering. It keeps you small. It keeps you in spaces that you no longer want to occupy. And so it's really important for you to be able to hear that within yourself so that you can shift that, and so that we don't look for people or things outside of us to blame or to fix anything. This is coming from within you. And so it's becoming aware of that. You know, some people call it the shadow self, you know, the dark side, whatever it is. It's basically the same thing, okay? But it's just that part of you that is heavy, that buys into lower energy emotions like guilt or fear or anger or perfectionism. So at this point in your life, just check in with yourself and ask yourself, which aspect do you feel is more prominent? Is it your goddess self or is it your goblin self? And so just take a note and, you know, jot it down in your journal, the aspect of me which I feel is more prominent. At this time, November 6th, 2018 is blank. What is it for you? And sometimes, you know, we don't even really realize that these conversations are happening. And so that's why we're doing this activity, this process today. So the first part of this is to ask yourself, what do I want? Okay. So in your journal, you're going to complete this little sentence frame here. And if you're not looking at the slides, I'm going to read it to you. What I most want to create in my life in the next 6 months is blank. Okay, so this is your intention, something tangible that you want to create in the next 6 months. What is that thing? What I most want to create in my life in the next 6 months is. Okay, and you can say, I will do this. I will do that. And so it's just some examples to help you hear and see what this sounds like as a tangible would be, I will get a business license and create a website that powerfully displays my services. That's tangible. Okay, we could actually see that website. We could actually read the services versus something that's intangible, like I will start my own business. Okay, that's good. But what is that going to look like? What aspects are you going to create? Okay, so take a minute and decide what one of your goals is in the next 6 months. A goal that is tangible. A couple of other examples are, I will have enrolled 3 new clients. I will write the first 5 chapters of my book. I will lose 20 pounds. Those are 3 very tangible examples. So I'm going to give you 2 minutes here to choose one thing. I mean, you may have 5 things that you want to do, which is great, but for today, just pick one. Okay, one more minute. Okay. All right. So the next part of this is deciding what your two biggest limiting beliefs are. That shouldn't be hard. Okay. These are the things that come to mind when you first start thinking about what you want to do. They just swoop in. Okay. These are the goblins. So your limiting beliefs are reasons why you think you may not be able to have that thing that you want. So pick two. Okay. So hopefully you have at least two. Okay. And just a couple thoughts on grit, okay? I love the symbolism of gems because they don't look like gems when they're found in the raw. And so through processes like these that we'll do today and moving forward, you know, and all the work that you do on yourself that really matters to pull you up to a higher level is not achieved without any sort of struggle or challenge, we'll say. So polished gems are tumbled with grit. There's always a little bit of like an irritant or something. I mean, it's the sand that really grinds down the surface of the stone to make it smooth, shiny, more radiant. And, you know, polished gems and raw gems, they're both beautiful. But the thing is, the light is much more easily seen when these gems are polished. Diamonds, same thing. Okay, so all the facets of you, we want to start polishing those, and there is some grit involved. So with these processes, you know, it's not going to be easy, but it is a part of shining you up from the inside out so that you can be who you came here to be without holding yourself back. Okay, so let's move into our process. I'm calling it a unique conversation because you will be having a conversation with your limiting beliefs. Okay, you'll actually be speaking using your voice, and members of our group will be personifying your limiting beliefs, your goddess self, and your goblin self. Okay? Because a lot of times we don't even realize what we're saying and what we're doing to ourselves with those quiet thoughts that we're having. Okay? But they are very powerful and they are very insidious, the way that they just come in and can sabotage things. So this is a way for you to begin standing for yourself, okay, as you use your voice, and also standing for someone else in showing them what is getting in their way. So you will be using your voice not only for yourself, but for a stand for other people in the group. Okay, so each speaker is going to start by sharing whatever it is her goal is and her 2 limiting beliefs. So you've already written this down. Okay, so that's easy. Here's some logistics just to make this really clear for you. And it's also part of safety and knowing where you're going with this, right? So the speaker is going to start by saying, I will do this, or I want to do this in 6 months. My 2 limiting beliefs are A and B. Okay, first step. Now, when we start having that conversation, I'm actually going to assign you to different parts. So you don't have to think about like what you're going to do. I'm just going to tell you, Linda, you're going to be a goddess, and Lisa, you're going to be a goblin. Goblin number 1. Nicole, you're going to be goblin number 2. So you're each going to have roles for each speaker. The speaker is the one who has the dream and the limiting beliefs. Okay. Now, goblin number 1 is going to use the speaker's limiting belief number 1. She's going to give all the reasons why she cannot get that goal, that she can't get there, why it won't work. Okay, so you're almost playing devil's advocate here, and you're really challenging that person with what the limiting beliefs are by saying them. Okay, there's a little creativity involved here, but I know that you guys know what limiting beliefs sound like because you do it to yourselves every single day. Okay, so this is not purposely hurting someone. The purpose is to illustrate what is already there, what they're not seeing. Okay? So just know that you are actually standing for that person in showing them that goblin side. Goblin number 2, same thing. You're going to take on the limiting belief number 2, and you're going to also challenge the speaker with that limiting belief. Now, the saving grace is the goddess. So the goddess role will be intervening in both of those conversations to support the speaker with words of encouragement, empowerment, and love. That should be so easy for you guys. That's super easy because you do it all the time for other people, right? So this is your opportunity to do it for other people and to hear it and receive it for yourself. Okay, so what this is going to sound like is a conversation with 4 different people speaking, right? You have the speaker, you have Goblin 1, Goblin 2, and the goddess. So you'll just be speaking back and forth. Okay? Now, here are some ideas just to kind of illustrate what this might sound like so you get an idea of the feeling and the tone, okay? So what a goblin might say. What makes you think this time is going to be different from the other times? Just think about how your kids will feel when you have to take time out to work on this. Won't you feel guilty that you're taking time out for yourself? You've already taken on more than you can handle. Okay, so these are those lower energy, heavier, negative, ego-centered, limiting beliefs that already exist within you. Okay? These are things that you're going to listen to that limiting belief and you're going to decide, how can I make that sound? How can I personify that? On the other side of that is the goddess. So what a goddess might say, you have learned and grown so much from your experiences. With some organization, you can find the time to prioritize the steps to get this done. Just think of the fulfillment and happiness you'll have when you've completed this. And you have people who are just waiting to support you. The tone, the energy is so different, right? And so this is practicing using your energy in different ways and also tuning in to that higher voice within you and also hearing it from others for you. Okay. So we're gonna get started here. But I wanted to, Lisa, I'm gonna unmute you.
Hello.
Hi.
Hi.
Hi, Lisa. Okay, so can we do a quick example here just so that they can kind of hear what we're doing here and how it sounds?
Sure.
Okay, so let's see. Do you want to be the dreamer? Do you want to share a goal that you have?
Okay. Okay. I want to expand my business and start a new course in January.
Okay. Tangible, right? Starting a new course in January. Now, what are your 2 limiting beliefs, Lisa?
I don't have enough time to make this happen, and how the heck am I going to fill the seats? Nobody's gonna be there.
Okay. All right. So I'm going to just give an example here, okay, of the goblin voice. Okay. So Lisa, you've never done this before. I really don't know why or how you think you're going to do this. You don't have time. You've got a full roster of clients, and you know you're trying to practice self-care, but how are you going to fit this in?
Hard to argue. I've done all kinds of things that I didn't know how I was going to do in the past. I have achieved amazing things in my life that will actually be a good fit for this thing that I'm trying to do. I forgot what else you said.
Okay, so I'm going to be the goddess now coming in and say, yes, Lisa, you have accomplished so much. You've created your own business, your own psychotherapy practice. You have attracted clients, and you know these are clients that you really want to work with that are paying you amazing money to work with their children and absolutely love you. They've written glowing reviews, and you know this is just the next step for you. So do you guys kind of hear what we're doing here? Okay. Okay. So, and it would go on. So basically I'm gonna give each person a 4-minute block of time for this conversation to happen. And we don't want to have any dead air time. So if it gets, you know, if there's a pause and you're one of the goblins or goddesses, start speaking. Okay? And if you are the speaker, it is also your job to defend yourself and to lift yourself up, like Lisa did. Right? She said, well, I've done a lot of other things in the past where I've proven to myself that I can do anything that I set my mind to. Okay? So let me get my thing going here. Okay. So what is going on with my, okay, my technology? Oh, okay, here we go. Okay, here we go. All right, so I'm gonna just assign you guys just because for time's sake. So we're gonna do Linda. Oops, typing. Oops, oh my goodness. Sheesh. Okay, I really can type. It's just when everyone's watching, it feels funny. Okay, so this is how we're gonna start. All right, I'm gonna close that. Okay, no, just kidding. Can you not see the bottom?
Cannot see the bottom.
Well, poop. Okay, hang on just a second here. Okay, I gotta move this up, you guys. This is why I love technology. Okay, I just had to move that up. Okay, so we're gonna start with Linda.
She's muted.
Okay, and then I'll go back. Okay. Hang on a second. I don't want to like close the meeting here, but this is getting funky on me here. Okay, so Linda, I'm going to go ahead and unmute you, but I still have to write in the other group members here. So who did I say was it? Michelle? Carol? This is important. I have to fill this in because then it helps us to know who are the other parts. Nicole. Oops, Inez and Laura. Okay, so for Linda, goblin number 2, or goblin number 1 is going to be Michelle. Okay, so goblin number 1, you're Michelle, or Michelle, that's you. And then goblin number 2 is going to be Carol. And the goddess is going to be Nicole. Okay, for this first round. And Linda, if you could just share what your goal is and your 2 limiting beliefs, then they can know what they're going to say.
Okay. My goal is to complete my website so that I can promote my art and sell my work. I know that's a lot.
That's okay. Yeah, so complete your website and put some of your pieces up for sale.
Yes, and make it work. It doesn't really work.
Okay, so working out some of the technology.
Yes.
Okay. All right.
My 2 limiting beliefs are that I'm not a good enough artist to command the prices, and that I'm not very good at tech or sales.
Okay. So limiting beliefs, not good enough to ask for the money.
Mm-hmm.
And number 2.
Not good enough at the technology then, too.
Okay. All right. Okay, so those are 2 very common limiting beliefs. Common meaning many people have them. Okay, so Michelle and Carol, you're the goblins. Nicole, you are the goddess. So I need to unmute. Actually, I'm going to unmute everybody just so that, I don't know what numbers or who. And okay. Hopefully, if there's a lot, then I'll mute you, but it's just easier this way. Okay. Let me get my clock here. So yeah, when I start the clock, goblins, goddesses, you can just jump in and start talking to Linda. Okay, go.
Oh, okay, Linda. Who are you to think that you are a good enough artist to charge that much? I mean, who's going to pay that much for that art?
But it takes a really long time to do it. And I want to show people how my energy and my art can help them with their life.
What makes you think you can handle making yourself so vulnerable to other opinions?
I do it a lot. And I'm used to it. I'm used to doing that. But I need to be able to recharge and do it again and again and again.
And look how far you've come, and you have so many resources you can reach out to and think about how the art makes you feel. And you can always return to that feeling whenever you're having a low moment, forgetting why you're there.
Thank you.
And the tech stuff will come. You can just slow down and sit there if you have the determination
there's many resources for that too. Surely you have somebody that can give you a couple of pointers, and there are lots of books out there. I just gotta. Oh, sorry. Goddess probably doesn't need to interject personal.
No, it's very helpful because it is a huge frustration. It's a huge frustration for me. I keep wanting to do other things instead of that. So yes.
These goblins are very nice. You guys challenge her. Seriously.
Okay. So
Linda, you've never done this before. How are you going to fit this in?
I actually, I have done it before. I've done it many times, but I kind of keep re-entering the marketplace, and I think this time I can do it.
Yes, and look how you keep showing up for yourself, and you're not giving up. And that's that tenacity that will get you there.
Won't you feel guilty you're taking time away from other things?
Yes, but I have to push through it.
And you keep pushing.
Yes,
technology
it's really
is
important.
Too hard.
It is too hard. It is, but I have been making big strides on it, and I know that if I do show up every day, I can be the one that advocates for myself, because nobody really knows what's going on in my head and how I want to put that out there. And I think that's my frustration, is I try to give that away and then I get frustrated by it. But I'm not going to do that anymore.
That's right. You remember, you just show up for you, and the rest will start unfolding.
Yeah.
But what if I fail?
I'm not going to fail this time. I am not going to fail.
Does failure even really exist? Do you have any proof of true failure in your past? There's no failure.
That's true, but sometimes it feels like failure.
Another challenge, another learning opportunity, another pivot point, another direction.
Yeah.
Another option to choose differently.
Yes.
Okay, that was 4 minutes. That was a good first round. Michelle, Carol, Nicole, Linda, thank you. Yeah, it can be being in the goblin role, but just know that this is what's happening in Linda's head, but it's happening to a more intense degree. And so just you being able to stand for her and show her in a very obvious way that, oh my gosh, this is actually how I'm talking to myself. What voice am I going to listen to is very, very helpful. Yeah?
Definitely.
Okay, so let's go to Michelle. So Michelle, you're going to be our speaker. Goblin number 1 is Carol. Goblin number 2 is Nicole. And then Goddess will be Inez. And then I'm going to add Lisa in just as a goblin, kind of sprinkling throughout so that we can, hold on, I see something in the chat here. Okay, that's okay, Nicole. All right, I don't know if you guys, can you guys see that? What did I
I can't see anything, but I can't figure out the technology today, so that's
okay.
That's okay.
Is that you, Nicole, or Carol?
Michelle.
Oh, Michelle. Okay, well, no worries. At least we can hear you, and that's all that matters, so that we're good. All right, so tell us what your goal is for the next 6 months.
Okay. My goal is to create more space for my family and myself, and not so work driven, but while simultaneously still growing my business at the same time. But my goal is, I guess, to create more space and time away from the work. And I guess one way I'm going to do that is I'm going to plan at least one activity per week with my family. And I'm going to have 1 day per week to myself.
Nice.
I'm going to take off.
Okay. That's very tangible. Excellent.
Yeah.
So 1 activity per week with the family and 1 self-care day. That's great. Okay. So that's what she's going for. What are your limiting beliefs?
I'm only worthy if I'm financially productive. So if I'm not making money, I don't feel like I'm contributing. And I am not worthy of free time. Well, I guess those two are the same. I don't know. Those are the only two. Is that the same thing?
No, one of them is just I'm not worthy of enjoying myself and having free time, and the other one is I'm not worthy if I'm not bringing money in.
Right. Yeah. Those are my two.
Okay. So the first limiting belief is the financial one, and then the second one is just the being able to enjoy life. Okay, Goblin? Yeah. All right, so let's get the timer here. Go.
You're only worth something if you're making money. Yeah, I mean, you've got to contribute money to your family.
Well, that's not true because I know my kids love it when I'm home and they don't care if we're out doing extravagant things. They're the most happy when we're in a place of simplicity. That's it.
Good comeback.
You don't deserve to have free time.
Everyone deserves free time. We actually require free time and self-care to be healthy. So that's important. We need to do that.
How do you expect your family to survive if you're not out there 24 hours a day busting yourself at work?
Well, I've done that, and my family's actually less happy when I'm working more. So I think it's less about the money and more about my presence in the home.
And what kind of example are you setting for your children?
I think a really good one, showing them that there needs to be a balance between work and play. I want them to learn that.
I don't know if is Inez here because I can't tell what the phone is. I haven't heard our goddess yet, so
I don't have a goddess.
Oh,
I don't know. Yeah, because I can't tell just looking at the numbers. And normally,
okay, I'll play goddess.
Okay.
That is so great. What a great role model you're going to be for your child. And you know, to be able to show that we all need to put ourselves first, and then you can actually be there for them, right? More. And also the importance of taking time for yourself. That's something that everybody needs, including your little one. And what other ways do you feel like you're worthy other than financial? I mean, I'm sure there's a ton of things that you can offer. Can you think of some of those?
Yes, of course. What can I offer besides financial? Well, just being a supportive mother and wife, and showing my kids that life is more than just money and things, that we can be happy with less. But what was your question again? What else do I have to offer?
You're answering it. Yeah, other than your financial productivity, there's so much more that you're offering. And so I was asking you to kind of speak to that.
Right.
And you were.
Okay.
Okay, time. All right, good. That was a good round 2. I guess we don't have Inez with us. Oh no. Okay. So, all right, let's move to Carol. And Carol, okay, so goblin number 1 is going to be Nicole. And we're going to do goblin number 2, Lisa. Goddess will be Laura. Okay, Carol, go ahead and tell us what your goal is and your limiting beliefs.
Okay, so super unsexy goal. Okay, it is getting 8 hours of sleep a night. Okay, and then my limiting beliefs are, what if I want to stay up late and do fun stuff, and it's boring to go to bed, kind of part of the same thing. And then I've been doing this, I've sleep depriving myself for so long. It's just too hard. I can't do it. I've been doing this so long this way. I just don't know how to do it the other way anymore.
Okay, so it's become a habit. Okay, all right. Are you guys ready? Okay, I'm gonna have to do 3 minutes just because I know you guys are heartbroken about that, but just for time's sake. So we're saving off a minute, and but please be laser about it. Like, don't let there be too much quiet time. There's always something you can think of. Use your creativity moving into this. All right, go.
Yeah, if you haven't done it by now, what makes you think you're suddenly going to be able to turn this around today or tomorrow?
I just know how important this is for me, and I can do anything else I set my mind to, like, no freaking problem. So this should be a piece of cake.
If you know all the steps to do, then why aren't you making the choice to do it then? What's stopping you? Do it today. Start today.
See, now I want to say my limiting belief. Yeah. Okay.
I don't know. You got a full day. I totally get why you might want time for yourself at night, just for you. Why do you want to give that up? Really, it's ideal.
Well, I know that once I have a base, a foundation of decent sleep, everything else in my life is going to just become lighter and easier and more fun.
Think about how amazing your life is going to feel after you get 8 hours of sleep. It's going to change everything. You're going to have more energy. You're going to be able to do all these things you think you want to stay up late to do. And you're just going to be a happier, brighter, more amazing version of you.
You know, you can't really help it. I don't know if there's anything you can do about it, because you're just born what do you call it, a late night, not an early riser. I don't know how you're going to turn this around. Your body isn't going to let you.
Well, when I was a kid, I loved sleep. I loved it, and I loved my dream world. I looked forward to dreaming every night. It was like my alternate reality, and it was so fun. And I loved sleeping. And then I was like ready every morning to wake up and do my day. I had tons of energy all day long.
Yeah, got that. But you also really like staying up at night. So how are you going to get your body to be like, yeah, I know I'll appreciate this tomorrow, but right now I really prefer to stay up. Much more fun.
Well, I'm going to figure it out. I can do it because I can do anything I set my mind to. And I know this is going to make a huge difference. I'll figure it out.
Yes, you will.
You're very determined. I didn't have time for more, but you can do this.
Yes. Okay.
Thank you.
This is good because the challenge is there, and then you can kind of see where, you know, people start getting convinced by that goblin side. It's like, well, yeah, no. So just being able to recognize that is, you know, is really great. Okay, so let's, Nicole. Nicole, are you going to be able to stick with us for another 3 minutes? Or did she already, she had to off. So, oh, okay. So we don't have Nicole. She had to go. All right. Well, darn it. Okay. So let's move on to Miss Laura.
Okay. I thought I had 2 more times.
Yeah. Inez is not here. So it's all you. So
yeah, it's all me. Ready, get set, rip it off like a Band-Aid. So my goal in the next 6 months is that I'm actually going to hit publish on my blog and my website, and I'm going to share my voice and the posts that I have and not just write them in my head, and I can share that with the world then, and I'll make my first few revenue dollars from that as well. Is that too many? That's kind of all one big.
Yeah, I don't think that's. Yeah, so publishing blog and website and creating an income, making your sales. Yeah.
Yes.
I think that's all connected. So that's exciting.
And my 2 biggest limiting beliefs are that the blogging world is saturated, so it's not possible for me to be successful. No one will look at my blog or read anything. And my second one is that it won't look professional. People won't take me seriously because this is not what I was trained to do, and I'm not creative.
Okay.
Can you repeat the second one?
Yes. That my website and my blog posts will not look professional because I'm not trained to do this and I'm not creative.
Okay, thank you.
Yep.
Okay, so goblin number 1 is going to be Linda.
Okay.
And goblin number 2 is Michelle. And the uplifting goddess is Carol. And Lisa, you can pick.
Okay.
We'll figure out what you are once you start. Okay, so we're gonna start our 3 minutes here. Go.
Okay, who do you think you are to be doing the blogging in the world? Like, what credentials do you have?
I think that my life experience is going to be credential enough for me, and that I've been keeping all these things inside that I want to share with the world. And I want to learn about, and then I want to teach other people what I've learned about or what makes me happy and things I've known. So I think that even though there's a lot of voices out there, every voice is unique. And so it'll be something different than what everyone else is reading somewhere else.
What sets your voice apart from the rest of the voices?
Because I'm me, and no one will necessarily present something the same way that I do, or think of a combination, or connect the dots the way I might. And I think I'll write to the person that I'm thinking about, that I won't write to a broad audience. I'll focus in on who I'm trying to speak to and stay true to that.
What makes you think you can handle all the criticism when you put yourself out there?
That's a really tough one. But I know I can do it because I'm working really hard at it. I think I'm laying out my boundaries and learning to lay out my boundaries so that what people have to say won't impact me the way it has for most of my life. But I'm learning how to feel that differently.
I love how you are standing in your own, and the comment about I'm just going to be me and nobody else is me. You don't forget that, because that is so true. We are all unique, and that includes you by default, if you ever question
it. Every day. So thank you, Lisa.
There you go. It can't help but be creative. You can't help but be creative. Just the fact that you come up with the idea, right? And whatever assistance you're giving the person who's setting it up, if you're not doing it yourself, that's you. And in terms of saturation in the market, in the blogging market, yeah, there's a ton of junk out there, but you're gonna stand out because you're gonna be you, and you are not out there yet.
Won't you feel guilty taking all this time away from your family, putting it all into the blog?
I think initially, but I'm going to be a much better person because I'm doing something that lights me up and makes me happy. So by doing that, I'll be creating a better environment for my family instead of one where I feel oppressed and frustrated and not who I am.
Yes.
Laura,
Laura,
you have no training in how to create a blog. You have no idea how to do that. That's not something that you know how to do. So how do you expect to be able to start that and make it work?
Well, I bought an online course to teach me how to do it, to give me the confidence with someone who also said that they are not techie and don't know anything about doing this. I actually have 2 courses for different things. So I'm working through those courses to help make this easier for me. So I have the resources I need to nail it.
Okay.
Laura, now is the time, Laura. Everything you've done your whole life has been leading you to this moment. You know you have important things and relevant things to share. That is why your desire is so strong to do this, because the world needs to hear your voice. And the money will come because you are being true to yourself and you are following exactly what you know you need to be doing.
You guys are on a roll there.
You guys are going to make me cry. I feel like my eyes are tearing up.
Yeah, okay, so kind of what's always happening in your head many times throughout the day when you figure out what you want to do, or hitting send on something. There's it really boils down to those 2 aspects of you and which one you're listening to, because they don't go away. The goblin is always there on some level, and it's a part of who we are, as human beings, that we want to stay safe and not be embarrassed and not make fools of ourselves and not want to fail. And so it's really important to be able to hear both voices and to allow the goddess voice to speak to you more so than the other, okay? Because the goblin voice can be very convincing, as we've heard today. It's almost like we start buying into that, and it's like, well, yeah, that's a good point. Oh, shoot, what was I thinking? And then we get off on, some other tangent, which is a complete waste of our time and energy. It's not feeling ourselves to create what it is that we want to create and take those steps. So just be conscious of that moving into, the next week and just moving forward, because they never go away, but we can speak to them in a different way from that higher voice. So discovery walk is obviously going to be for a different day. But moving forward for the homework, quick journal entry about the most painful time in your life, or a moment in your life that was the most painful. I promise we're not going to stay in the pain for much longer, but it is the one that you haven't told anybody. It's the one that you didn't choose to tell in the group. Just really sit with yourself and decide what that was. It doesn't even have to be anything conventionally traumatic. It could just be something that really was painful to you. And just write out what that is and do your best to reframe it in a way where you can carry it a little bit differently. Sometimes it's just a matter of looking at it and acknowledging it, which will allow you to shift the energy around it. And if you need support in reframing it, obviously share it with your buddy if you don't feel comfortable sharing it in the group, or you can share it with me in one of your one-on-one sessions. But it is really important to look at that and to shine light on what that most painful moment was, because whether or not we acknowledge it, it is affecting you. Okay, second piece is to check in with your buddy this week. Keep it short. You know, we're all busy, so 15 minutes is perfect. But just revisiting your intention that you set at the beginning of this program and checking in to see where you're at with this and what progress you have made. And then, of course, be conscious of the voices within you, and then just some basic maintenance exercises at the bottom. So I'll be posting a mindfulness exercise and a body scan for you to start working with. So that is it for today. Thank you for sticking with us. Inez, we missed you. And I, look forward to hearing the rest of all of your posts in the Facebook group about your feedback exercise. That's what we're going to be working into next week. So it's very important that you do that first homework piece moving into the next exercise. And next week's call will be similar, where we're on a video call and you will be speaking and interacting. So next week, come ready to be on camera if you can. It's ideal. Okay. And that really is a stretch area for some of you. I know that, but just know that that's a part of your process. And so if it does feel hard, that's all the more reason to actually stretch and do it. Okay. We're just here with each other, so we don't have to look perfect or be perfect, and, just show up and let us see you. And then we'll move into the next exercise together. All right. Well, I'm going to close for now, and wishing you all a happy Tuesday. And thank you for giving today your best. Oh, this is perfect timing because I don't know if you can hear the weed blowing outside, but no? Okay. It just got really loud. So this is perfect timing to close. All right. Okay. Have a beautiful Tuesday.